Hello everybody, in this video we're going to continue to talk about how to simplify expressions and solve equations. Um, we have spent a couple of our previous videos talking about the vocabulary words, talking about how to combine like terms and what is a like term and how do we combine them. We also talked about the distributive property. When we have a set of parentheses, we want to go ahead and multiply the number on the outside by all the numbers on the inside so we can get rid of those parentheses and continue to look at those terms to see if we can simplify them. So the last section right here on this page is taking everything that we've learned and putting it all together. So even though we learned about combining like terms first, we're not going to start with that. So right here, it says look for parentheses to apply the distributive property first. So if you see a set of parentheses, you want to work on the parentheses first. You want to do the multiplication, and then you want to organize and then combine like terms. So if you look at this one right here, we're not going to put the -6 and the 4 together, even though they're next to each other and it looks like they're like terms. We have a set of parentheses, and according to the statement, it says do that first. So I'm going to ask you to circle the +4, and we are going to draw our arrows to remind you we're going to multiply it by -7. We're going to multiply it by -2. And once we get done multiplying, then we're going to bring down the -6 and we're going to look to see what we can combine it with. So let's go ahead and do that first. So I'm looking at 4 and 7 gives me 28. The signs are different, so it's going to be negative. Then I'm going to multiply 4 and -2. That gives me 8. Don't forget to bring down the n. And because the signs are different again, it'll be a -8. Now remember, you have a calculator, you can check your signs, you could check your multiplication, just to make sure that you did it correctly, all right? And then from there, since we're done multiplying, let's bring down the -6. All right, as I'm looking at all three terms, I'm trying to figure out which ones are the same kind so I can put it together. So this has an n, which means that I could only combine it with another number with an n, and it doesn't exist. But I see that these two numbers right here are both plain numbers. So that means I can put them together. They're both negative, so that means they have the same sign. I'm going to add them. So that's going to give me 34. Because 28 is bigger, I'm going to take its sign and give it to my answer. So the answer should be a -34. And since I don't have anything to combine with this one, let's just bring it down. And this is my final answer. Because we can't put these two together because this one has an N and this one doesn't. So this is our final answer. So when you take a moment to look at this one right here, you're going to notice we have a set of parentheses. We want to do that first. So we want to multiply first. So I'm going to circle the 7 because the 7 is going to get multiplied by the -8. It's going to get multiplied by the 7. And so we're going to multiply. So if you take 7 and you multiply it by 8, we're going to get 56. We're going to get 56p. And because the signs are different, it's going to be negative. All right, 7 times 7 gives us 49. Signs are the same, so positive. And then since we are done multiplying, let's go ahead and bring down this -8. It doesn't get multiplied because the 8 is not inside the parentheses. And when I look at this, even though I see that 56 has a P, I don't see any other P's here. So it looks like we're going to be able to do this again. So the 49 and the 8 are the same kind of number because they're plain numbers. They don't have variables, so they go together. Now I can see that the signs are different, so we're going to subtract, and that's going to give me 41. 49 is bigger, so that means my answer is a +41. I'm going to bring down the negative 56 with the P. And I notice that these can't go together because this one has a P, this one doesn't. They're not like terms. This is my final answer. This is as far as I can go. All right, the last one is a little bit different because notice that it has two sets of parentheses. So it doesn't matter which one you do first, but since we naturally start on the left and work our way to the right, let's do this one. So if it overwhelms you to see two sets of parentheses and a whole bunch of numbers, then what we can do here is we can just cover this up and pretend it's not there. And notice that this looks like one of the problems that we did in a previous video. So if you go up here and you notice that we had just one set of parentheses and a number on the outside, we're just going to do this twice. So I'm going to pretend this isn't here. And the n should have a number, and since it doesn't, I'm going to put a 1 there. I'm going to circle the negative 3. I'm going to draw my arrows to remind myself that I have to multiply that number twice. And anything times 1 is the same thing, so negative 3n. 3 times 3 is 9. Signs are different, so negative 9. And then when I'm done with that, I'm going to do the exact same thing to the second set. I'm not going to take just the 5. I'm going to take the 5, the negative 5, and then draw the arrows. 5 times 1 gives us 5. The signs are different, so it's negative 5. 5 times 2 is 10. Signs are different, so it's going to be a negative 10n. And even though I'm done with the distributive property, I now have 4 terms. And these two can go together. So I'm going to rewrite them. I'm going to take my negative 3n, put it next to the negative 10n, and then drop the negative 9 and the negative 5. And I can now see that these two will go together because they're like terms. They both have n. These two will go together because they're like terms. They're both plain numbers. So the signs are the same. So I'm going to add, and that's going to give me 13. 10 is bigger, so it's going to be a negative 13n. Okay, signs are the same. They're both negative. So we're going to add them, and that's going to give us 14. 9 is bigger, so it's going to be a negative 14. I can't put these two together because this one has an n and this one doesn't, so they're not like terms. So this is my final answer. And that's it. All right, so I'm actually going to pause right here. And in the next couple of videos, we're going to talk about how to solve an equation. So notice that everything we did on this page is an expression because it doesn't have an equal sign. So how do we use the distributive property? How do we combine like terms and solve an equation all mixed in together? Well, if you watch the next video, I will walk you through how to do that. Okay, I hope that these examples and my explanations helped. And like I said, I'll see you in the next videos.